All right. Um, so tribe, so family, welcome to my channel. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this for, um, because I might get calls, I might get some interruptions, and if that happens, I'll just have to leave the whole thing and then I'll come back whenever. This is my first video in quite a while, in a few months. And yeah, I think going forward this will probably just end up being the case. I'll probably not be recording this videos or lives on a regular basis. And yeah, you all won't see my face. We are just going to be listening to each other. All right. But yeah, it's great to just hop on here and share some of this information with you, and then or perhaps sharing this information with each other, and then continue with our life. So we have 7 signs here of a narcissist hiding in your, because it is my belief real human being. The reasons this and by this world, I'm talking about the so-called narcissistic matrix, or the matrix, or but it's sort of like an overlay of reality that is operating on top of or parallel to true reality. All right, and this fake reality is basically mimicking true reality, and it is also hijacking true reality. And not only is it doing that, but it's also it's it's attacking true reality. It's trying to destroy true reality. It's also trying to present itself as true reality. It's trying to pretend that it is true reality. So we are talking about that narcissistic matrix. All right. So if, for example, there's a real matrix, the narcissistic matrix, which is the matrix of this world, is trying to pretend to be the true original reality, or true original matrix. So, and the reason why we've got this fake reality called this narcissistic matrix, the dark matrix, or whatever you want to call it, um, it's because we've got narcissists that are on top of the food chain of this particular reality. All right. So these narcissists that are on top of the food chain of this, narcissistic matrix, or this fake reality, they get to set the tone for a lot of things that get to happen in the world. What is acceptable and what is not acceptable? What is, um, uh, what are the things that are proven to be, true reality, or accept, for example, with regards to statistics that have to do with how many narcissists do we have in this world. Um, they will of course say no, it's just 1%, or just they are less than normal human beings. They will say that because they need to say that, because someone else on top wants humanity to believe it that way. But your on the ground everyday experience will tell you that there are more narcissists than there are real human beings, or good, or genuine, healthy, or at least more empathic, or more neutral type of people. There are more narcissists than that. All right, there are just way too many narcissists in the world. Way too many, too many of them. All right. So that's what we are dealing with here. So the people that are in charge of this world, they are narcissists, and so they want to minimize and to invalidate the reality of narcissism as much as possible. That's what they want to do. I'd really appreciate the likes and the subscriptions, of course. So that's pretty much what is happening here. They want us to think, no, narcissism is not much of it's not really a problem as it really is. Also, another thing that I've noticed here is that they will world except for one thing, narcissism. Make a big fuss about all the other, like declare a state of years ago to say infestation amongst humanity. All right. And we've got a whole lot of people here that are causing so much distraction. They won't do that. Why? Because they themselves are the narcissists. They themselves are the problems. They are the ones that are doing these things. So they are not going to call it out for what it is. They are not going to point it out to say, this is what we are really dealing with. All right. The wars, the hurting of children, everything that is going wrong in the world, every single thing that is going on in the world, believe it or not, you can trace it back to narcissism. And I've done a video where I explained that. I think it's on one of my lives. And I think I was talking about the narcissistic dark matrix or something like that in that video. But I explain what I'm talking about. I have researched this, I have searched this, I have looked at this for literally more than 20 years, almost 30 years, or even more. I've been looking at this. Every single thing. A lot of people will say to you, no, human beings are flawed, human beings are problematic, and all of that. That is what the narcissistic dark matrix wants you to believe, that human beings are flawed. But they won't tell you which human beings they are referring to, because they are referring to narcissists. The normal human being, the only reason why they end up falling short and doing all sorts of strange things at any point in time, it's because they are under the influence of the narcissistic dark matrix. Normal human beings, in their true nature, they are very high vibrational frequency beings. And as such, they do not have a lot of the proclivities that human beings tend to be having these days or in this world. It's all because of narcissism. And narcissists had to lower the vibrational frequency of human beings so that we can drop to their level, so that there is no differentiation, there's no separation between us and them. I really appreciate that. Like, I know we can definitely do more. Let's go into the signs that a narcissist is hiding among your family or in your group or community, because they're everywhere. Everywhere they are there because they are soldiers of this system. They are the foot soldiers of the system. People talk about sleeper cells or something along those lines. Narcissists are those sleeper cells. At any given point in time, they get activated. Anytime where there is anyone that is a threat to the narcissistic dark matrix, the narcissist in that area, in that environment, gets activated to target that person. All right. So, your family, every family, I really do believe that there's at least one narcissist that gets planted there. And, if your family doesn't have a narcissist, you are very fortunate. All right. Maybe you've got just someone who've got maybe a little bit of issues, but they're really just not nefarious, they're not malicious. Then you are really fortunate. But almost every family in this world has at least a minimum of one. And then, of course, some families, it's like literally the whole entire family is a group of narcissists. Okay. So the first thing that you will see where, these are the signs how you know that you've got a narcissist in your midst. The first thing that you're going to see then is that there'll be paranormal activities in that environment. Okay, within the family or there'll be some kind of paranormal activities. All right. Things like, witchcraft. You'll be exposed to things like that, like witchcraft. Now all of a sudden it's like there's a whole lot of people that are coming against you from a spiritual perspective, and they're spiritually attacking you, and a whole lot of things like that are happening. Strange things happening. And sometimes you'll even experience or have some encounters that may have to do with aliens and all of that. And I'm not saying every single encounter with aliens or extraterrestrial beings and all of that have to do with narcissists per se. No. Some extraterrestrial encounters could, have to do with other beings from other places. I have no idea. But I know that when it comes to narcissists, you'll definitely encounter some paranormal activities such as this ones. witchcraft, aliens, ghosts, some kind of apparitions, some kind of bad omens, but there'll be something that is paranormal that will be happening there. And usually it's a negative thing that will be happening. And why is this the case? It's because narcissists are beings from the lower astral plane. They hail from the lower astral plane. Their vibrational frequency is attuned and in line with the lower astral plane. So, literally, their reality is that lower astral plane reality. And what is that lower astral plane reality? It's a fake, illusory reality. It's a demonic reality. It's a reality where dark beings operate or hail from. It's a reality where evil beings are hailing from. All right. So it's a full it's the place where the narcissistic dark matrix is actually hailing from itself. So every narcissist carries with them that frequency of that alternate reality. And it's a very ghastly alternate reality, a very dark alternate reality. And so their very presence activates all these things. It's like they are bringing with them all those things into your space. All right. The second thing that happens here is you deal with pest infestations when you are dealing with narcissists. Okay. So when there are narcissists in the environment, there'll be a whole lot of pests. You will be wondering why is it that there are just so many pests, and you'll be doing everything to get rid of them, but they will keep returning. You will have some problems with pest infestation. Why? Because the vibrational frequency of the environment gets lowered when narcissists are there. Narcissists, literally, the existence of narcissists brings with it a lowered vibrational frequency, meaning the reality. Like literally, what they do is they take you out of reality and bring you into the twilight zone. An evil, foggish, very, you know, strange and uncomfortable twilight zone. But that twilight zone is merged with reality and parallel to reality and very so attached to reality in such a way. It is so latched onto reality in such a way that you're not going to see that you're actually dealing with two different realities, in one go. It's like two different paradigms, two different dimensions in one go. You'd be dealing with them like that. But you won't be aware because there's a way that they operate where there's an automatic implication, almost as if there's that thing where you have to there's that obligation unspoken but yet implied that you have to see things as if you are just dealing with the same reality and everything is normal. This is how things are. This is how human beings are. This is how the world is. There's just too many pests in this world. Who's creating them? Narcissists. Narcissists are creating them. Not only are they creating them just by virtue of their frequency, because they carry the same vibration. Narcissists are pests. All right, they are malware if we were to look at it from a computer terminology. They are pests, they are viruses, they are, the bed bug. So, of course, you will find because those are the things that are aligned with them vibrationally. Okay. Rats, cockroaches, reptiles, okay, birds also, the birds that are very annoying and they just mess everything up and they just, poop on everything and they just those and they drop all kinds of things, bugs and all sorts of things like that that could even be poisonous, isn't it? So those pest infestations, those are signs that you're dealing with narcissists. Many a times people, when they are dealing with certain things in their lives, they are quick, especially people who are spiritual, they are quick to jump into, okay, where's the witchcraft and all of that. And it's like, you don't understand that the first level of witchcraft that you need to be looking at is narcissism. Once you deal with the narcissism, the other form of witchcraft is much easier to deal with it. But if you don't deal with the narcissism, whatever it's like dealing with the other forms of witchcraft, you are literally dealing with the symptoms, but you're not dealing with the root cause. You're not dealing with the root cause. But of course, how many people are willing to do the work? How many people are really willing to do the work that is required to counter the narcissism that they might be dealing with? There's something else that I still wanted to say under this point, but it's not coming through. So I'm just going to go to point number 3. So we've got, point number 3, bad luck. When you're dealing with a narcissist, there's bad luck that you'll find yourself, dealing with. Okay. There'll be bad luck in that space, in that environment. All right. Bad things will happen to people, accidents, losses, people will be making bad decisions, some kind of misfortune will be befalling people, especially the people that, are in good terms with the narcissist, or people that they have some kind of energetic entanglement with narcissist, whether they are in positive or negative regard, but there's some kind of energetic entanglement with the narcissist. This is also because of the lowered vibrational frequency. Okay, because all the narcissist needs to do is to lower the vibrational frequency, and then they are literally unleashing the demons of hell onto the environment by lowering that vibrational frequency. When they, decided not to, when they decided to break down the bells, isn't it? They broke down the bells, they destroyed them, they hid them, and they destroyed every single thing, or well, as many of those things as possible that were high vibrational frequency, that had to do with the civilizations that came before us. When they were doing, like, causing all that destruction, what they were doing is they were lowering the vibrational frequency so that it can be conducive for their kind to proliferate. And like viruses, they did. Like cancers, they did. And of course, they distracted us. They kept us, too busy thinking, oh no, it's just a world war, whatever. They are fighting against whoever. And then, they got their little characters and their little stories that they tell us, this is what's going on. We are fighting this man here in this place because he's doing this and this and that. And then, meanwhile, they know the real battle. They know the real fight. They know what they're doing. They are busy destroying us. They're busy destroying our world. They're busy destroying true humanity, targeting real human beings and breaking them down. Okay, let's see what else here. Oh, yeah. Another thing that happens, where there's bad luck, in an environment. Of course, the narcissists in those spaces will then be, scapegoating their target, isn't it? The person that is actually fighting against the narcissist, even if the person is not actively fighting the narcissist, but by virtue of that person's vibrational frequency, the person that's a threat to the narcissist will be the one that is targeted, will be the one that is told that people are told is the cause of the bad luck that is happening to them, will be the one that people are told, no, this is the person that is actually causing the misfortune here. All right. The person, usually the person that is a threat to the narcissist is the one that the narcissist labels the narcissist will cause everyone in the environment, usually, through triangulation and a whole lot of things. The narcissist will cause that person to be isolated and ostracized. The very person that will end up right. So this is also how narcissists, play their very dirty games, very, very dirty games, very deceptive creatures. This ones, I don't understand how is it that, but anyway, I do get it. How is it that people want to make narcissism to be just, no, it's just a mental disorder. It's just people who are wounded and broken. It's just people, like, do you understand what narcissism is? Like, do you really, really, like, it's not just madness, but it's intelligent madness. It's not just evil, but it's strategic evil that has all kinds of plans A, B, C's, and D's that counters anything that is meant to break it down. When you're dealing with narcissism, you're not just dealing with, no, it's just a mental health disorder. That's not what you're dealing with. Look, to this day, how long has it been since narcissism started being, a term that people are, trying to understand and learning about and all of? It's been over 20 years. And to this day, there isn't really any consequence for being narcissistic. If anything, it's like, oh no, don't label people, don't be harsh on people, don't judge people because you don't know where they've been. It's like, what on earth? What on earth? But we understand. Why is it that people would not want narcissism to be seen for what it is? Because majority of the people are narcissists, and certainly the rulers of this world are narcissists themselves. And if you have channels like mine, for example, and I know many other channels as well, smaller ones, and you're exposing these things, and you are not sent by them to say what they want you to say. You find yourself on such kind of platforms, you find yourself struggling to grow, you find yourself demonetized or struggling to get monetized. You find yourself dealing with a whole lot of odds. And that's just one challenge that has to do with dealing with this kind of evil head on. That's just one thing. But that tells you the level of evil that exists in this world. And anything that is evil in this world is really narcissism, or at least a reflection of it. Now, number 4, time and space feel weird. Okay. It definitely feels weird. It really, what happens when a narcissist is in your midst, reality begins to feel weird. If you look at it closely, you will notice that reality starts to feel wobbly. It feels wobbly. Okay, it feels almost as if you're not standing on solid ground. It's like, you are standing on top of um, liquid carpet. And that carpet keeps, like, it's like that bed, that water bed kind of a thing, that water mattress or something like that. It's like you're standing on top of that thing when a narcissist is in your midst. So the reason why you feel that way is because you've got a narcissist in your midst. Very common people, it's very common for people who feel this to be those that are in intimate relationships with narcissists, and it's like you've lost yourself and you've become a shadow of yourself, and that's why things feel a bit offish, you feel a little bit disconnected, things feel a little bit foggish and all of that. But it's hardly spoken about or described or explained that actually another reason why things feel a little bit foggy and weird and strange and disconnected and wobbly, it's because your reality is being messed with as well. All right, your reality is being interfered with. Okay, appreciate the likes. I do appreciate the likes and the subscriptions. Okay, so the narcissist lives in an alternate reality. They do not live in true reality. They live in a false reality because they are false beings. They live in the lower astral plane because they are demons from the lower astral plane who somehow manage to manifest themselves into bodies. Okay. Because of the lowered vibrational frequency of our planet, because of something that was intentionally done at some point, somewhere, somehow. All right. And so, with that being the case, when you are encountering a narcissist, by virtue of who they are already waging war against your reality. They are trying to take over your reality. And by the time you start feeling things feeling very wobbly like that and all of that, that is a signal to you that there's interference, serious interference with your reality. All right. Let's see what else. Okay. All right, that's it for number 4. Number 5, we've got conflict. Okay. So when you are dealing with narcissists, there will definitely be a lot of conflicts. Okay. You'll find yourself dealing with a lot of conflicts. All right. Casper Casper Snell. Hello to you, Casper, and welcome. All right. So where narcissists are, people are always fighting. All right. There's a spirit of fear. There's gossip. There's what is, I've got a little one here next to me, and yeah, I'm probably, disturbing him with my monologue here, and I need to finish so that I can at least let him have a nice restful sleep. So yeah, there's fighting, there's fear, there's gossip, and there's distraction as well, because narcissists are very destructive. Okay, there's low grade tension in the atmosphere. There's hostility and there's cruelty. People in the presence of a narcissist, or in the midst of narcissist, people begin to behave in the most cruel ways that they would not normally behave, in. All right. When people start behaving very cruel, you know that they are in you. Literally, you and them are in the presence of a narcissist. And of course, some of the people that would be hanging around the narcissist would be narcissists themselves. All right. But as long as there's a narcissist in an environment or in an area, you will notice. You will notice that people will begin to show very cruel, or people will generally just show very cruel behaviors. All right. People will become quite hostile. People will become cold. All right. Even good people, somewhere, somehow, they find themselves also just becoming, it's because the vibrational frequency, once again, is lowered. All right, because narcissists corrode peace. Narcissists cannot exist where there is peace. So they will spread all these negative energies and emotions around through gossip. And of course, even they themselves are very hostile. So sometimes they'll be, behaving in ways where it become like people around them feel like they have to tiptoe. And then people find themselves fighting each other just so that they can keep peace with the narcissist. All right. Especially if that narcissist has some kind of a position of power in that environment. Okay. And of course, there'll be ostracization of people, there'll be scapegoating of people, there'll be, targeting of people, bullying of people, and there'll be triangulation as well. All right. And then number 6, there's chronic illnesses. Where there's a narcissist, there'll definitely be chronic illnesses, because people are basking in toxicity. Okay. And what I wanted to say about pests earlier on is that narcissists are not only matching pests in vibrational frequency, but narcissists also do manufacture pests. I have a theory that many of the pests that we are dealing with in the world, like mosquitoes and a whole lot of things, flies and a whole lot of things like that, they are manufactured somewhere, many of them. It's like, even if maybe they did exist and so on, I feel like the level at which they have infested the world, especially, they tend to be quite a lot of them in certain areas and so. I have a theory that they might actually be manufactured, like literally mass produced, maybe so that certain products can be bought that are meant to deal with them. You understand? So that's a theory that I have about that. Because if people can manufacture illnesses, then what else? What stops them from manufacturing other things as well? Um, yeah. So some conflicts are also manufactured as well, isn't it, by the narcissist, because they cannot exist in an environment where there is peace. Okay, let me just quickly finish here so that I can attend to uh, this angel that is making sounds here in the background. So, in closing, the final one here, where there is narcissists, you'll find low vibrational frequency activities. Okay, so you'll find low frequency activities, a devilish fun type of activities. So it's like, even if those activities are meant to be good activities and all of that. So basically, any activities that the narcissist is engaging in or is getting people to engage in, as long as the narcissist is there, something will be wrong in with that whole thing. Okay, there'll be some kind of inappropriateness. Basically, they will strip the thing of its high frequency essence and leave it in a very low vibrational frequency. All right, and if it's something that is literally just something that is outright just low vibrational frequency on its own, and it's like some kind of devilish fun type of a thing, then yes, they will go ahead and still do that. All right, that will be something that narcissist will make sure. For example, with the black communities, there are a lot of activities that are considered to be fun activities, but they're really demonic activities. Okay, and generally across the board, like literally worldwide, because of the narcissistic dark matrix, of course, where music and entertainment is concerned, majority of this, if not like literally 99.9% of it, it's low vibrational frequency stuff. It's stuff of the narcissistic dark matrix that is meant to um, reinforce the narcissistic programs within the minds of humanity. All right, there'll be strange sexual or factual, should I say factual, because then this is how you, and like we are so censored, it's not even fun. Even if you've decided that this is not for kids, but you still can't say certain things because the algorithm then works against you. But there are strange factual proclivities where narcissists are. All of a sudden, people are feeling certain things that they wouldn't probably, feel like doing. Wouldn't under normal circumstances be, inclined in that direction. And then, of course, there are all sorts of addictions where narcissists are. And then, people struggle to, live upright. Many a times, we'll be thinking, why are certain people doing this and this and that? And, sometimes this would be attributed to witchcraft, which it is witchcraft, what narcissists are doing. You understand? But majority of the time, people will be behaving in certain ways precisely because there are narcissists in their midst. And because the narcissist is a carrier, is a host for a whole lot of demons. From time to time, those demons, they literally spread around and they harass the people in that environment. And one of the ways in which they harass those people in that environment is by tempting them to go for things that are, for example, you find people struggling to stay faithful to their partners, people just, having all these inclinations that are just bad for them. And many a times you'll think, oh no, this is just how this person is, because, wherever they go, they are doing these things. Meanwhile, the person has been targeted perhaps all their lives, and everywhere they go, there's some kind of a narcissist there. And so the demons in that narcissist will be able to get information from the demons that previously dealt with that person to say, okay, this is how we usually, break them down. And then they know that they just, break the person down by introducing certain things to them and tempting them in a particular way. You understand? So, yeah, narcissists are really some serious annoying pests to humanity. That's really what they are. Okay, and all of this are happening because the vibrational frequency of the environment is lowered and is compromised as long as the narcissist is there. So if you find yourself in an environment where there's quite a few narcissists there, try and see if you can. The first option, of course, is always moving away, running away, moving to a place where it's safer and you don't have to deal with narcissists. But the reality of the matter is that those places are few and far in between. So if you can't move away from that environment where a narcissistic infestation, then you have to look into all the various tools that you can apply to protect yourself against such kind of demonic activities that you will find yourself dealing with as a result of being exposed to the narcissist at that level. All right, so thank you so much for spending time with me on this transmission, Soul Tribe, Soul Family. Until next time, goodbye.